Okay, this is No Textbook for Life. Welcome to our podcast. I'm your host, Malia Johnson, and today we have a very special episode with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Colt. I am her husband. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, well, anyways, we are going to share a very, very special story of how we met. So, I do have a few notes here if you're wondering why I have my laptop. Which, if you are listening, you cannot see.
It folds like that?
Yes.
Fancy.
Okay, so first thing is first. We feel like we have a pretty unique love story, I guess. Right? So, it began in the MTC, which is known as the Missionary Training Center. And for those who don't know, it's where young men and women in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints go before heading out to serve as missionaries. So it's kind of a spiritual boot camp.
That's a great way of describing it.
So we study, practice teaching, and prepare for 18 months for the sisters/women and 2 years for the elders/men. That's where Colt and I met, and yeah, pretty interesting. So we're gonna start there at the MTC. So how about you begin with like the little, leaving Idaho, headed down to the MTC, and make it quick, I guess.
Make it fairly quick. So I got my mission call to Columbus, Ohio. And as I was preparing to go down to the MTC to get trained, the day that me and my family left, we went down a little bit early, and we went to, I think it was Chuck-a-Rama or something, for my dad, what my dad called the final meal. And so we went there and ate, and then we went and got Krispy Kremes. And then went to the Provo temple, and we're taking pictures around there. And then that's when we said like a kind of longer goodbye to my family, because we were, you don't really have that much time when you dropped off at the MTC. And so I just remember getting dropped off, and my sisters and my mom were all crying, and my dad was like, "If you come back early, I'll step on your toes." And then I was off. That was literally the final glimpse, and I have a lot of social anxiety, so I was super nervous. I was very scared to be there.
You still do.
Yes, I still do. But I was very nervous, but I was very excited to see what the future held.
Yeah, so that was a Wednesday, right? August 30th, 2017. And I showed up very much late.
17?
Yes, 2017.
Holy cow. We're old.
Yeah. So it was I think a 6-hour drive down to Provo from where I was at, and my mom's car broke down in just an hour away. So anyways, I ended up being like 3 hours late, I believe. So I missed all that check-in, and I didn't get to meet my group that I was in, which we refer to as districts. So it just happened to be that I was in the same district as Colt, but I did not know that until later that night, because when I first got there, I went straight into a meeting where there was like over 300 missionaries. So I had no idea who my companion was, because we're all assigned a companion. And I had no idea who my group was, and no one could really find them. We didn't have phones or any sort of way to contact each other. So
should have known then that we're always going to be late to everything if Malia was involved.
We're not always late to everything. Okay, Colt. So I guess we should go to the first time that we actually saw each other, because like I said, I was late and I didn't find my group. So that was around 3 p.m. when I got there. And then at 8 p.m. is when our group finally got back together for a meeting. And some sisters helped me find them. So around 8 p.m., that's when I finally was united with my companion. And the first time that Colt and I had kind of met, we were in a meeting, so we just kind of like saw each other. But I walked into the meeting late, of course, and
Fashionably.
so Colt did see me first. What do you remember about first seeing me at that meeting?
So as a missionary, you're not supposed to date or do anything like that. 2 years or 18 months is fully devoted to serving the Lord and helping others. So that's kind of a no-no to check out a sister. She walked in and I was definitely like, man, she's a cutie. And so that was like the very first thought in my head was just like, wow. Should I tell them about the dream now or is it later? Yeah, so that was my very first thought was just I saw her and I was like, she's attractive. I should get to know her a little more.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next day we went to class. So we had basically all 2.5 weeks full of classes. And we had a specific room for our class. And because I was late the first day, everyone else kind of had their like seats, right? And so the only seat left was actually right next to Colt. So that I actually ended up sitting next to him for the next 2.5 weeks. So, can you remember your like first impressions of me when we started talking?
I don't remember exactly. I'm pretty sure how I started the conversation.
Was something cringy?
No. I saw your Iron Man notebook. And I was like, okay, I can make a conversation with that, you know? I'm pretty sure it's something stupid like, oh, you like Iron Man? And anyways, just started talking about that. And as we were talking, once again, I was trying not to get too close, but we were talking and sharing stuff about like our home and our interests and stuff like that. And I found out not only was she very beautiful, she was also into a lot of things that I enjoyed and I liked.
Yeah, which is funny because my first impression of you was that you were kind of dorky. You know?
Not much has changed.
But like, I don't know. I remember sitting down that first meeting and like you popped your head over and I don't know, you waved or said hi or something. But we were all introducing ourselves and you stood up and instead of saying like I'm Elder Johnson, because we're supposed to like go by our elder and then your last name. And then he stands up and he goes, I'm Colt. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, no, it's incorrect. Anyways, and he also carried around 2 water bottles at all times and had chapstick and gum. Just super particular.
I feel like that's fairly normal.
Everything you do is so particular and kind of odd, but grew to love your personality. Which is good, right? Okay. Do you remember any funny or sweet memories from the 2.5 weeks together at the end?
I do remember quite a few. Both funny and sweet. The biggest one that I can think of. Which one?
I was just checking your mic. You're good.
Okay. You were checking out Mike?
Dude, come on.
Let's see. I think the cutest one I remember was I got super sick in the MTC because, you know, you have a ton of different teenagers from all over the states and foreign countries all come together. So there's a lot of sickness that actually goes around. And I got super sick. Like,
if you're weak.
Yeah. Pretty much. Anyways, I got like super sick, and so I ended up missing a few classes and stuff, and just staying in bed. And then after coming back, she got like super sweet. It was like, I missed you. I was like, you did.
Yeah.
And then I felt better.
Yeah, well, you got sick after like a week or a week and a half.
Yeah,
and so
we'd known each other for a week and a half at that point. That's basically
like that.
Time.
When you're in the MTC, it's long hours.
Yeah,
and
you're like
constantly,
constantly together.
Days feel like weeks, and weeks feel like months, and that is very much true.
Yeah.
So we were basically getting to know each other every months. I like we always talk about how we like held pinkies under the table, which is super, like, I don't know, it's definitely something you're not supposed to be doing, but
Wow, you're sharing that. Listen, if you're preparing for a mission, don't do that.
Well, you can't do that while you're preparing.
If you're going to the MTC, don't do that.
Well, unless it's your soulmate. I'm just kidding.
No, we didn't do anything else, just to clarify. We just very slightly touched pinkies.
Yeah, we just held pinkies like twice, I think. Yeah. Once or twice. I don't know. Okay, so the very last day, I was leaving first at like 3 a.m. So we said goodbye to everyone around 9 or 10. And that was awful. But do you remember about that last night saying goodbye before separating for 2 years?
It was definitely really sad. And I honestly kind of thought I wasn't going to see her again. Like, I really wanted to see her again, to be honest, obviously. But, she went to Omaha, Nebraska, and I went to Columbus, Ohio. And the only way to communicate is like through emails or texts for the 18 months or 2 years. Emails or letters. And so I don't know. I kind of thought I wasn't gonna see her again. Like, it'd be one of those things where I'd reach out to her and she wouldn't respond, or else she'd just respond like in super short stuff. So as much as I wanted to see her again, I was super sad because I was like, I'm probably never gonna see her ever again. So it was rough.
Well, I just remember, I think you gave me a hoodie, and
which I never expected to see again either.
We still have it. And yeah, we said we were all very close in our district, so we were like, "Oh yeah, I love you, to everybody." And so that was the last thing we said to each other was "love you," and then separated. But like I said, we kept in touch through email, mostly. Letters, kind of. I sent a letter probably every week or other week, and he sent me 2.
3.
2.
3.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Anyways, 3. I have what I said.
Listen. I am a guy. I never even sent a letter to my mom, just emails. So you should feel very special that I sent you 3.
Maybe you should feel special.
Oh, I do.
And I also sent you like gifts for your birthday.
I'm pretty sure I sent you a necklace.
You did.
Thank you very much.
In the one of the 3 letters, yes.
Yeah, that's something.
I still have that one too. It was like a little key or something. The key to your heart.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said something stupid like that.
Well, we probably still have it somewhere. Probably still have that. Okay. So, was there a letter or email that stood out to you?
I don't think I have one that sticks out.
Didn't you carry one around with you?
I carried pictures of you, and I carried a couple of them, but I can't remember what one.
Well, wasn't the one I was you in the MTC? You said that it was like falling apart.
It's probably in there. We can find it, but yes, I definitely carried one of her letters with me and one of her pictures with me all the time, so that I could show people and be like, yeah.
My future wife.
Yeah, basically I was like, yeah, I got this baddie writing me.
Writing.
Yeah. And emailing.
Yeah, it did sound like you said writing.
What did you think I said? Censor that.
Your thoughts or no?
Yeah, so I don't have one that sticks out particularly, but I loved and appreciated every single one of it. So
yeah, I also carried around like you sent me a football photo, like from high school, like a senior football photo, and I kept that in my scriptures. Wait, yeah, in my scriptures.
Nice.
I know. Okay, so did you ever think I might marry her someday, or were you?
I mean, I thought about it, but it was more like wishful thinking. I still wasn't.
When was it like a concrete, like, this is gonna happen or might happen?
First, you have to understand, you were such a flirt in the MTC.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. And there's a bunch of elders who had a crush on her. So I was kind of like, oh man, you know. But we talked a lot, and it was definitely, and I'll be honest, it probably wasn't until like 6 months in that I truly thought that like maybe I could marry her someday. Like I wanted to,
But kind of
earlier.
like constant
Yeah.
communication.
Yeah. But like constant communication, getting to know each other more, and like talking about like what the future could hold for us as individuals or us as a couple, and stuff that I started thinking like, hey, this might actually happen. And
Well, you were also the very first person I emailed, like the second that we were allowed to email when we got to the mission field. Not even my mother. Well, you might have been second. I don't know. It might have been you, then mom, or mom, then you. Anyways.
she also yelled at me in that email because they were late.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that email.
Oh.
I'm talking about when I got to the mission.
That was the very first email.
Yeah. Which I don't think I was supposed to be emailing you during MTC. But that's fine. That was 8 years ago, so it doesn't matter. Okay, let's get into the dreams. So we both had dreams of our like significant others. I was 13 when I had mine. And you were what, 13, 14 as well?
Probably around there.
And so basically my dream, I was living in Washington at the time of this dream, and I grew up in a city. So in my dream, I was on a ranch, and there was this apple tree, and there was this cowboy sitting underneath the apple tree, and he had brown hair, brown eyes, and tall. And that's all I remember from the dream. And like when I would date people, that's kind of what I was looking for. And didn't get that until Colt came around. And then what, describe your dream?
I had a dream about me sitting on a beach with a girl, and she was wearing a black swimsuit. Actually, it was technically a black bikini. But I remember looking over at her, and she's kind of like playing with her hair that was a little bit wet from being in the ocean. And
getting too specific.
Sorry. and feeling like a ton of love for her. And she had long black hair and a dark complexion, but she had freckles, which was kind of unique. So when Malia walked in, my first thought was she's beautiful, and then my second thought was she kind of looks like that girl in my dream. But I obviously was not going to tell her that I had a dream about her.
Right. I think, but he did tell me first. And it's probably after like 6 or 8 months.
It was a while. Yeah, like 6 or 8 months of emailing and
then I was like, oh my gosh, no way.
So I told her, I was like, hey, this is going to sound crazy, but.
Yeah, because I mean, he was wearing a suit when I met him, so I didn't really know that he was a cowboy or anything, you know? So it was hard to really. That's gross.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Keep it in, please. Okay, so I came home in March 2019. So my mission was 18 months. So I got home technically 5.5 months before you did, because you came home like a couple weeks earlier. So I guess let's just talk about the day that you got home. Well, okay. I guess a little backstory though. When I got home, his family came to see my homecoming. So that's where we like talk in our church and kind of tell everyone what we've been up to for the last 18 months. And we call it a homecoming. So his mom and dad and 2 younger sisters came. We also forgot to mention that we only lived 4 hours apart.
Yes.
Luckily, because people like in our district, we had people from all over the place. So that's, kind of crazy in itself. And so I just went about my life for 5.5 months. In June, my sister and I did go visit his family at their home, and we stayed there for a week, and we got to know them, and they showed us tons of baby pictures, videos, and home videos of Colt. So we really got to know him pretty well through that, and his family. Met his other older sister and his nieces and nephews and da da da. So we met basically everyone. And then August came around, and his 2 years were up. I caught a ride from Nampa to Shelley, and his mom picked me up, and I stayed at his house for, I think, 2 nights before you got home.
That sounds right.
So I stayed there for 2 nights, got to know his oldest 2 siblings. So at this point, I know his whole family. And I'm staying there at their house, just kind of taking it all in. And then we went to the airport on a Thursday, I believe. August 15th, I think.
I think so.
And picked them up. So what do you remember from coming home?
I remember, so it was kind of hard because we flew in from Ohio to the Salt Lake airport. A lot of missionaries were from Utah and Salt Lake area. And so a lot of them got to meet their families. And in fact, I was the only one from my group that had to take another flight to get home. And so I saw, them hugging and cheering and having all their families. And I was like, oh man, I wish that was me right now. But then I got on a plane to Idaho Falls. And luckily, it was only like 45-minute flight or something like that. But I got there and was super nervous. So nervous that I had to go pee. And so I had to run to the bathroom, and I passed like 3 or 4 people that were like, oh, they're waiting for you. Like, you're going to keep them waiting? And I was like, well, I'm going to pee. Because my brother's massive, and I was like, dude, when he hugs me, That was exactly what I was thinking. I was like, when Cody hugs me, I'm gonna pee my pants. So I better run to go pee.
I was waiting for you.
And
I sleep.
They make it sound bad. I was maybe 2-3 minutes later than I would have been.
That's better than me. When I got home, I sat in I don't know, I sat on just a chair because I was so dizzy from how nervous I was. I probably sat there for like 25 minutes. So
yeah, see that wasn't me. I took a couple minutes in the bathroom, and then I went down, and that feeling is amazing for several different reasons. One, you feel so accomplished and so proud of yourself for doing that. And then two, seeing your family who you haven't seen besides in like video calls or talking through email, and seeing them, it's just a very amazing experience. And then the ice cream on the cake, the pièce de la résistance.
What?
I don't know. It sounds French. Anyways, was that Malia was there, and I was very just overwhelmed with love at that point.
Yeah, he waited to hug me last, like chump change.
Not like chump change. I knew that if I hugged her first, I was probably not going to let go. So I hugged.
I guess you didn't really.
That, and I'm sure my mommy would have been.
Your mommy?
My mommy would have been an unhappy camper if I hugged her first.
Well, you hugged your dad first.
Yeah, but that's because he was there first and reaching out to me. And so, I don't know. It's just amazing.
Yeah, so that day we went back to your house, and you, I don't know, it was just like, what were we? We were in his sister's room, right? Weren't we in Tanae's room?
No.
Doing something, like, I don't know, she was showing us something. Anyways, we had like a split second of time to ourselves, and he's like, what, do you remember what you said? Like, do you want to be my girlfriend officially or something?
Yeah, something like that. Something cheesy.
Super cheesy. So, I don't know, you were home for like an hour, and I guess we like officially started dating at that point. So yeah, I mean, then a month later, so August 15th, we started dating. September 13th, we got engaged. Then October 25th, we got married. So looking back now, what do you think about how fast everything happens? And, well, okay, yeah, you answer that first.
I am glad with how fast it was. Obviously, it's worked out and it's been amazing. And there's always a break-in period once you get married to learn and
right, but we felt like we had known each other pretty well. Like we have gotten over all the small chit chat and then dove deep into like the deeper stuff through the emails stuff
and everything like that. And I mean, I probably would have, just because I am socially scared of situations like that. I probably wouldn't have proposed for a while longer. She kept pestering me, so just throwing that out there. It was not me who made it super quick. It was her. She's like, "So you gonna propose yet?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I've loved it. I was gonna do it anyways. It just would have been a little bit longer.
Yeah, but if it was up to you, we wouldn't even be here.
I'm very grateful for how it's turned out and how fast it turned out.
Mm-hmm. Well, we waited longer, like on your schedule, than we would have hit COVID.
This is true.
So at least we got married before COVID. We got to be sealed in the temple. What made you sure that I was the one?
Several different things. So obviously I prayed, and felt really good about it. the dream was probably the biggest one, where especially after getting to know her more, I felt the love for her that I felt for that girl in my dream, and I was like, yeah, she's the one, because I'd never really felt that before, So those were probably the two biggest ones, and then just the fact that we were compatible, we wanted the same things in life, and had shared interests, but weren't like similar enough to where we wouldn't mesh.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, you have to have, you balance each other out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so, do you think our mission experience and letters helped us skip some of that dating phase confusion?
100%. 100%. It's a miracle to think of us being in that same spot at the same time, being in the same district that we were, especially when you think of how many people go through the MTC every year. And
yeah, our one group in that one day was 300.
Yeah.
And you're getting a new group every week.
Yeah. So just the amount of people rolling through there, and the fact that we had those dreams and just different stuff like that, I just know it wasn't a coincidence that we met and were married.
Do you have any advice for couples who feel like their love story is moving fast?
When you know, I know that's said all the time, but if you feel good about it, you're comfortable with your relationship and where it's at, because as you date more, obviously you're gonna get to know each other more and see different personalities and how they handle different life situations. But for me personally, getting married and being thrown into the thick of that right away helped more than anything to, I think, build our relationship and build like what we have now.
I think there's something to be said about like when you're doing the Lord's will.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Like when you know kind of comes from being prepared and being ready to be in such relationship too.
Yeah, but I've heard of shorter ones than us. I've heard of way longer, and those people are happy. They're still together. They have a good thing, but it's just, you'll know the timing when the time's there.
Yeah, so let's go into life lessons from our love story, because that's kind of something we do on this podcast, since you don't listen to your own wife's podcast, but it's fine.
I'm gonna be your number one fan as soon as I can find it.
Wow. It's on 4 platforms. And my husband doesn't support me, you guys. Life lessons from our love story. So number 1, like we were saying, that God's timing is better than ours. So meeting at the MTC wasn't random. The empty seat, the letters, the timing of when we each came home, all of it lined up in ways we couldn't have planned. So the lesson is trust that even when things feel out of our control, there's often a bigger plan unfolding.
Yes.
Okay, number 2, I think this is a really big lesson and something for anyone in a relationship to consider, but relationships are built on friendship first.
Yes. That's true, because either way, even if we wouldn't have worked out and we went our separate ways and we didn't get married, I do feel like it would have been a friendship that would have lasted at least
eternity.
A long time.
Because like writing letters and emails helped us connect deeply without distractions, and we built emotional and spiritual intimacy before like any sort of physical intimacy there. And so love isn't just about chemistry, it's about connection and communication. That is the lesson there. And like I said, I can't this is just so important that you really should be friends first. Get to know them first instead of jumping into a relationship, because it's just, I don't know. So there's just something about being friends first and for a while too, it seems like.
I agree full-heartedly. The only relationships I've had that have been love right away is parent and child, I think. Everything else, it's even with like siblings, like I had to become friends with them before I could really say I loved them. That's how it is with everything, you know.
So the third life lesson is that fast doesn't mean reckless. So, some people thought that our engagement and marriage was extremely fast. I think mostly your family thought it was kind of crazy. Because we went from dating, engaged, married in 2 months. So, but however, like the groundwork had been laid out for the last
2 years.
2 years. So I mean, the lesson here is don't compare your timeline to others. What matters is how solid the foundation is, not the speed.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it seemed fast to everybody else, we had already laid down that foundation, and like we already knew there was no reason to wait at that point. So we just figured that and decided to get our life going.
Yes.
4, shared values matter more than surface things. And this is a big deal, I think. Compatibility goes beyond hobbies. It's about core values, life directions, and faith. Because, like in my other podcast, I talked about like a college boyfriend, and we did not have the same core values, life direction, or faith. And that was the reason we just did not work out.
Thank goodness.
But I mean, those are the reasons that you and I were able to connect. The 5th life lesson is that these small moments prepare us for the big ones. So, we had letters, a dream, a seat in class. Those little things built up to a lifelong commitment. So, don't underestimate small acts of connection or small decisions. They often add up to the biggest turning points.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to be learned from those 2 years of being missionaries to married.
Yes, there is a lot of maturing that happens, a lot of life lessons, spiritual lessons, a lot of stuff that happens for the good.
Mm-hmm. So I love looking back on our story. I always ask Colt, I'm like, can you tell me the story of MTC and tell me the story of when you got home? Because it's like some of my favorite memories. And I can see how God had his hand in every single step. And so we're, very grateful for that, obviously. Anyways, for anyone listening, your love story doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Ours was unique, and yours will be too. The important thing is recognizing the little miracles along the way. Do you have anything you want to say?
Just God has his hand in everything, and that's one of the biggest miracles I've seen is how that all played out to where we are now. And yeah, it's just amazing. It's definitely my favorite love story. Yeah. I have to apologize. I took Benadryl before this, and I am getting very sleepy.
So if you stop talking, we can end.
Hopefully, next time, if I'm invited back, if I did good enough, I'll be a lot more perky.
Maybe.
But for now, I am.
Well, if you stop talking, we can end it. So thanks for tuning in for another episode of No Textbook for Life. If you enjoyed hearing our story, make sure to subscribe and share it with a friend. And don't forget, you can watch the video version on our YouTube, Modern American Mama. And we will see you next week.
Will we?
You won't, because you never listened to my podcast.
One time. Kind of.